All right, welcome back. The cake, of course, turned out perfectly as I said, and I started icing this cake, and then I said, oh, what am I doing? This would make a very fine video. So anyway, here's the cake so far. I've already iced the middle. So I put them like a hamburger bun facing the two bottoms come together. I put the icing in the middle, and then I put some icing on the top. Now I'm going to try to put icing around the edge. I probably don't have enough in this tub of icing. If you noticed, I turned the plate upside down. Here's a little trick. You turn the plate upside down. It makes icing the cake so much easier. And when I'm icing the cake, what I do is I put icing on icing and spread it. If you put icing on cake, this icing is very, I'd like to say viscous, but it's not really so much viscous as it is, viscous is more for an oil type thing. I guess viscous is the deal. Otherwise, if you put it on the cake and you try to drag it, it might tear the skin of the cake. If you've ever baked a cake, you know what I'm talking about. Whereas if you put icing on icing, whoops, I can't afford to lose a big blob of icing because I'm trying to stretch this as thin as possible while getting full coverage of the cake. Anyway, talking about the viscosity of the icing, I know that's not the right term, but the thickness, I guess. The drag coefficient. The drag coefficient of the icing is such that it will tear the skin of the cake, which you do not want to do because the icing doesn't stick to open cake as it does to the skin of the cake. Now, here's the problem. You buy these things, 340 grams. I don't know how many milliliters this is, but they know that you need 2 of those to properly ice a cake. So they kind of force you to buy 2, which I'm not going to do. So I'm going to stretch this thin and do what I can icing this cake. Now obviously if there's a bald patch, I'm going to have to go and probably buy another one because that would be too foolish to talk about. But anyway, back to the drag coefficient and the skin of the cake. If you put icing on icing and patiently spread it, the icing gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then you put another blob on and you continue. And before you know it, you've got it iced. Now, this kitchen is probably, I'm probably in a house now that is 5 degrees Celsius. If this house was 20 degrees Celsius, or 15 or 18 like a normal house, it probably wouldn't be such a problem icing this cake. The thought crossed my mind of putting this icing in the microwave, but I don't like the fact that this is in a plastic container to begin with, and I certainly don't want to add any heat to it. Plastic being highly toxic and the bane of humanity in the modern times. But anyway, that's it. So I've got basically all of the icing on this cake, and as you can see, this company has basically screwed over their customer base because, as I explained, they don't give you enough icing to properly ice a cake that goes with, the same company that made the cake produced the icing. It's kind of the hot dog bun conundrum where you buy 12 hot dogs and 8 buns. So they know you got to buy more buns. And who's going to buy that many hot dogs where you can equalize the bun hot dog ratio? You know, buying 2 packs of wieners and 3 packs of buns to even that out. I believe that's the math. That's just off the top of my head without thinking, but I think it's I think that's the calculation. You can comment below if my math is off, but I think that's how it goes. Anyway, it's very frustrating when you live in a world that basically screws you over for, you know, patronizing their company, so to speak. But I'm gonna keep spreading and spreading and spreading and see what I can do. And yeah, it's probably good that I iced most of this cake prior to starting the video, because this video could potentially get quite long with this method of icing the cake. But that's it. What are you gonna do? Ooh, see? I just ripped a patch off. This is another problem. Too much icing, constant pressure, constant jostling of the skin underneath the icing is just going to rip it eventually. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. So sadly, I think I'm going to have to go and buy another one. Otherwise, this cake is not going to look very good, because I pretty well scraped this clean. But I didn't feel like making my own icing, because it's similar to what I said about the whole flour, sugar, baking a cake from so-called scratch, what they used to say in the old TV commercials. Oh, this box cake tastes just like scratch cake. Yeah, well, of course it does. Instead of measuring out my own flour, sugar, and baking soda, I bought pre-measured. That's pretty much the only difference. So, of course it's going to taste that way. Anyway, what can I say? I'm not going to be able to finish icing this cake, I don't think. Now, some of you out there in YouTube town, maybe you have better results. Maybe you can stretch this out over one cake. Maybe it's just a matter of practice. However, I kind of like a bit more icing on my cakes, if that's the case. If the case is that this should sufficiently ice a cake and I'm just using too much, well, I'm a sugar fiend. What can I say? I make no bones about it. I enjoy sugar. I have a sweet tooth, a yard wide and a meter thick. Get it? I don't, but it sounded funny. Yeah, baby. If you can't entertain yourself, if you can't entertain somebody else, entertain yourself. I heard a guy once say, wherever I go, somebody is going to have a good time, even if it's just me. Now, what more can I say? Thanks for joining me. I'm going to keep spreading. I don't want this video to get too long. Later on, I'll show you the inside. I'll give you my taste test, see if it passes inspection. It is a perfect cake. I can tell you, but I'll let you know. I don't even know what white cake is, but I'll try it. Anyway, till next time, who loves your baby? This guy, and don't forget that. And also remember, you're somebody's favorite person in this world, probably mine. I might give myself a haircut. Might give myself a shave. I'm gonna go do my boxing now. It's almost 6 in the evening. I want to do my boxing. After my boxing, I might ride the bike, and then I might give myself a haircut and a shave. So there might be some more videos coming your way tonight. If not, I shall see you tomorrow. So till next time, remember who loves you, baby? I do. Goodbye.